All right. Good morning, Goelzer National Area and friends. I am so excited. Happy Tuesday. I don't know what day it is, July 12th or something. I am so excited because we have a special guest speaker on the call today. As you all know, I've been freaking out about her. She's my friend, brand new $500,000 sales director, Lauren Bloomer. And before I introduce her, I'm going to do a little bit of recognition, but I need to pull up my recognition. I was confusing myself as what I was doing here. Hold on one second. Okay, let's see. All right. And Lauren is actually coming to us from National Sales Director Kim McClure's house. How cool is that, you guys? Wow. And so, hey, before I get started with recognition, you know, Amanda Collins had left me a Voxer message this morning, and she'd been talking to one of her director friends who's doing great. And Amanda was encouraging her to keep going towards her goal of national sales director. And her friend said, you know what, I've decided that I don't want to be a national sales director anymore. I want to be a top director. And Amanda and she didn't have a lot of time to talk, so that's where the conversation ended. And so what I want to really just put out to you, my friends, this morning, just as a precursor to what we're talking about, is top director amazing? Absolutely. Kim McClure and I were both top directors for many years. In fact, you know, Kim was the queen of the company and $1 million sales director multiple times. And so we loved our lives as top directors, you know, meeting other top directors, being on top director trips, the income, the diamonds, all of those things. But I want to share with you, and I think Kim would agree, that national sales director is even better than top director. And we don't ever want you guys to lose your vision of that, okay? Because, of course, the tangibles, you know, you see the tangibles, you know, the beautiful Escalades that we get every 3 years without requalifying for them, the trips around the world that we get back from every May that, you know, you see the pictures, you hear the stories. The paychecks, you know, I don't even know what Kim's paycheck is for this month. She had great things happening, finishing in her national area. But you guys, it's more than that. It's more than that. It's seeing the people's lives that we get to be a part of. You know, seeing Becky Clements last night at our unit awards night, debuting as a new sales director, having her husband be so proud of her and her children there, hanging out with Gabe, you know, just the relationships that we get to build. Having Karis there with Paul, and Paul really sharing what he loves about this Mary Kay opportunity as he has seen Karis literally grow up, you know, in Mary Kay, as they've been dating since they were like 15 years old. Of seeing the look in people's faces, you know, of Amanda Collins, who last year at this time was struggling as a sales director, and this year is going to be celebrated at seminar all over the place. You know, of meeting people. You see, if Kim and I, we didn't become friends till we were national sales directors. And that's how I got to meet Lauren, you guys. That's how I got to meet Lauren, because we took trips together as nationals and we brought our people together. And then Kim and I traded retreats last year. And some of you know how powerful that was for your lives individually to have Kim McClure pour into you. And then Lauren and I got to build a relationship. We got to have a one-on-one lunch appointment where I love Lauren. Lauren, I loved you before that lunch appointment, but just having that heart-to-heart, that special time. You guys, I didn't get that as a top director. I get that as a national sales director. And what I want to share with you too is not only the relationships that we build with our offspring sales directors and our friends' offspring sales directors, but the relationships we build together. There's no other women on the universe that I would want to have my back more than my national sales director sisters. You know, I got to meet Brittany Capps because I went to Leah Carta's retreat, right? You guys, Nationals Exchange retreats. And at that place, I got to build that relationship with Brittany Capps. And then she became a sales director. You guys, 9 months after I was with her as a future executive, she was a national sales director. And so we have a bond, and we spent time together on the trip. And then she came here this past weekend and poured into so many of you, right? Who do you get to meet because you have a national sales director? And I want you to think about that as you're building towards that. You know, our friend Leah Carta always says she believes there's 2 steps to national. And I'm going to believe her because she has 3 offspring nationals. Step 1, Cadillac. My friends, and that's what Lauren did this year. She earned that Cadillac, and she's going to tell you that story. And then step 2, executive senior. And that's another thing that Lauren is on her way to accomplishing, is she is a senior director with 1 offspring and a DIQ right now, and many more to come. And so, my friends, I just want you to realize, and I want you to know, if you've become jaded or if you've lost your dream about being a national sales director, I want you to get it back. I want you to get it back because it's worth fighting for. It really is. Step 1, Cadillac. Step 2, executive senior, and then get to those 10 first line. Be focused, you guys. A confused mind does nothing. As I left on my broadcast group yesterday, don't be confused by promotions. Promotions don't matter in the month of July, sister. Parties matter in the month of July. Directors holding parties, that's what matters. All right, and so I'm going to give some recognition. And what are we recognizing now in the middle of July? We're recognizing personal team members and personal wholesale, because our goal is triple star and double star this year, you guys, because that's where it's at. And 4 qualifieds for your unit or more in the month of July, as Mary Kay has put out that challenge to do. And also 5,000 by the 15th. It's only the 12th. So get excited, you guys. Be focused on the midway point. Getting a check on August 1st as you were coming back from seminar. Getting excited about what's happening. There are 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th. There's 4 days to get 5 agreements into the computer and $5,000 in production. Do not give up on that first of the month goal, okay? So here we go. With team members in the computer right now, brand new sales director Becky Clements has a personal because she is finishing on the move. And like Lauren, she is going to do the triple crown. Megan Cruz has 1 new unit member. Nikki Hill has 1 new unit member. Becky Mueller has 1 new personal team member. And Crystal Pounds has a new personal team member. Congratulations. Directors with 600 wholesale in already, because they're getting the bracelet, which is so that they can show it to their unit members and sell it. The faster you get your 600 in, the more strategic it is for your unit. You don't want to order this on July 31st, sisters. Don't do it. Get it now. So we have Nikki Hill, Tammy Cloud, Amanda Collins, and Trisha Bless. Well, that's interesting because they're all from the same family. And wow, they're all doing it together. Congratulations. Now with 4 qualifies for the month, which is your minimum goal, we have Mary McIntosh, Trisha Bless, and Tammy Clout, which already have qualified team members in for this month to count for the 4. Now, they had signed last month, and they became qualified this month. So you'll understand it counts for the bonuses, but it doesn't count for court of sharing. Okay, so we're all good on that. All right, and so don't forget the last challenge that I put out there for you personally is any director who sees at least 30 faces. You have to see a minimum of 30 faces. The director with the most faces in the month of July, personal faces, gets a one-on-one coaching call with none other than Shut Up Senior National Sales Director Julia Burnett. Are you flipping kidding me? A half hour with Julia Burnett? Seriously, I want a half hour with Julia Burnett. I don't get a half hour with Julia Burnett, so that's exciting. And don't forget, when your consultants finish the perfect 6 this month, they not only get the bracelet from Mary Kay for doing their $600 wholesale order, but from we're putting our top 10 directors together on a page, and they get a coaching call, a 20-minute coaching call with one of you. Oh my goodness, how exciting is that going to be for you to be able to build somebody up? And then number 2, for them to be able to be in the space of an amazing sales director, not their own. You guys, I think that's going to be pivotal. So really, really, really sell that to your people. That not only will doing the perfect 6 build their business or higher, but it's going to get them a one-on-one coaching call with one of the top directors in our national area. All right, so let's get to what you've been waiting for. Oh my goodness, I am so excited. I have to put my glasses on though because I can't see her accolades here. All right, here we go. Oh, Lauren Bloomer is married to her husband, Landon. I love that name, Landon. She started her business in June of 2012. So she has just had her 4-year anniversary. She debuted as a sales director in March 2013, less than 12 months after joining. When she was a new director, so listen to this, new director, she achieved all 3 new director programs and earned the Triple Crown ring. And that's what Brittany Capps talked about this weekend too, my friends. Many races, 1 out of the starting gate. She has done the court of sharing twice. And Lauren, if you hadn't prepared to talk about this, I do want you to talk about what you do at your parties. Kim says you've really become more focused on purpose at your parties with your recruiting. Right now, the number 1 most improved unit in the entire state of Pennsylvania. Woohoo! Keeping that up all through December, sister. And number 8 unit in Pennsylvania this year. Holy cow, and we're halfway through the year. She currently drives the gorgeous pink Cadillac, which she earned December 31st of this past year. And last year, they did not do a unit club. They were, like Kim said, like over 250,000. And this year, they finished the $500,000 unit club with her first bar pin being $500,000. And I know some of you also have that goal out there. Last year, Lauren was driving a premier level car. At this time, she had about 80 people in her unit. They recruited 38 people in the month of June, to finish up over $40,000 in production, $14,000 more than they've ever done to complete the $500,000 circle of excellence. I need to give a big shout out to Lauren, and I'm going to talk about you in just a second, but also a shout out to Kim because of your big thinking. Lauren shared with me that you took her out for coffee or for lunch and said, you can do $500,000. And you know, you guys, that's what great leaders do. They stretch their people's thinking beyond what they can see at the moment and breathe belief into them and then work with them to get a plan. And so, you know, all of those accolades are amazing, but I haven't seen Lauren physically since she's been a Cadillac director. I haven't seen Lauren physically since she's been a $500,000 director. But Lauren, you've always been that person to me. You know, your accolades are now just catching up with who you are. I love you, not because of what you've accomplished and not because of the diamonds that you're going to receive on this stage at seminar. I love you because of your character. I love you because of your heart. You love this business and you love people, and that shows in everything you do. And so I am so excited for have you pour into this national area. So please welcome my friend, my sister sales director, and on her way to national without a doubt, Miss Lauren Bloomer. Yay! I'm trying to unmute you. Oh no, and she's still muted. Uh-oh, wait, Lauren, you're still muted. I can't unmute her. Unmute. Seriously, I can't unmute her. Click the little microphone, okay? Click the. Did she mute herself? Lauren, did you mute yourself by accident at all?
Can you guys hear me?
There you go. Yes, now we can hear you.
Okay. Heidi, oh my goodness, thank you. And you're going to make me cry. I am honored to be speaking to your national area today, to be like a little ounce of just what you've given to me. And I just thank you so much for our conversation. I thank you for being at Chemical and pouring into our national area. I being such a great friend to our national sales director, who we love and adore, Kim McClure. And I'm honored truly that you've asked me to speak today to your area. So thank you for giving me this opportunity. And you guys, I just want to be really open and honest when I share that this year was God's gift. God, my growth and really, truly putting him first in my life, which was something that I was not doing. And so I'm going to be sharing with you today what switched for me, some areas that I've grown. And I hope that this call gives you hope that you too, wherever you're at, because it doesn't matter where you're at, can finish and have such a powerful year. So you guys, I started my business 4 years ago, and I was teaching full-time, and I still currently am teaching full-time. And so I thought that I was in my dream job because I was a music teacher and I got a job in my degree, and that was exciting in and of itself. And so when the marriage opportunity was with me, I just didn't think that I needed anything else in my life because I was planning my wedding, I was working on my master's degree, and I was teaching full time. And so I didn't know how anything else could fit into my plate, but I fell in love with the products. And the other thing I want to share is that my consultant reached back out to me multiple times and just said, would you listen? Would you listen to some information? And so it was on that phone conversation with Kim McClure where she shared with me, and she just gave me hope. She gave me hope that the dream life did exist. And so I took a chance on that. And so fast forward, I became a sales director, and I was loving the position of sales director. I was loving what I was doing. I felt like I was making a difference in women's lives. But I was thinking really, really small minded. And I was doing a good job working at my full God-given potential. And so last seminar, I want to take you there because we were like #2 in wholesale and #1 in team building. And, you know, we got to wear these buttons on my director suit. And, but I knew that I wasn't working up to my full potential. And I'll never forget, I was on my way into a luncheon, and there was a sales director that stopped me, and she looked at my jacket, and she noticed my buttons, and she said, "Oh my gosh, #1, #2 in Kim McClure's national air. What did you do this year?" And I remember so deflated and feeling like I was wearing these buttons, but I wasn't representing our area to the highest of what it should be and where I knew that I should be. And so I told her that I was driving an Equinox, and we had a great year, but I felt embarrassed. I don't think there's another word. And then ceremony, you know, as I'm applauding and watching like everybody walk across that stage, and really just getting mad. And I don't mean like I was happy to cheer for other people. I always am. But I was mad at myself. I was determined to not come back in the same place. And, you know, I had 3 unit members there with me last year. And they looked at me and they're like, "What do we need to do to get you to walk across that stage?" And you guys, that hit my heart. And I realized that they wanted me to walk across that stage, that they wanted to be represented as one of the top units in Mary Kay. And so I made a vow to myself that I would not go back in the same place, and that if it were to be, it was going to be up to me. And so this year, starting out of the gate, I decided what I wanted, which was the court of that was super important to me. I've always felt like my strength is in team building. I love sharing this opportunity with women. And so that was what I was tracking. That was what I was focused on, because I've been taught multiple times that the B is the key to NSD. And so that was really my focus, and also just not wanting to go back in the same place and really wanting to just give it all I had. And so fast forward, when we were at Nemacolin, national sales director was there, and I was feeling good. We were like, you know, we were going to be Cadillac, and she talked about limiting beliefs, and I needed to get my stinking thinking out, and I needed to get those beliefs out of my mind, because they were holding me back and they were holding my unit back. So I'm going to share with you some of the things that I was thinking, and I'm sure that some of you might even be able to things that I thought. And then I want to share with you my power state took us from Equinox to Cadillac, because you guys, it was my mind. It was my mind, because what we think about, we bring about, and when we play small, we call our team small too, because we're playing it safe. Play big and we play all out and full out. We call our unit members to do the same. So you guys, my thoughts about the Cadillac were that it was selfish to drive a Cadillac because I was the only one who would get to drive a Cadillac. It was that Cadillac was really hard, and it meant I was going to have to put a lot more time in, that I would have a car payment if I had a Cadillac, or that I would lose the Cadillac if we earned it. And I didn't even realize that I was until, you know, Heidi said, write them down. And that's what came out. That was what came to my mind. And so I flipped it, and Kim, can you see me and hear me? Okay. So she would send this to me every single day, but through a text message at different times. So this was my power statement. I have thick. I know that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. My story is unique and doesn't have to be like anyone else's. I am a hard worker and can motivate and inspire other women. The Cadillac is a representation of the women of excellence in my unit. God is using me to bring others and myself closer to him. Earning it is being obedient to where he has called me to be. And you guys, when this is what I was filling my mind with every single day, I got more and more excited that this was a calling on my life, that this was where I was supposed to be, that lives were going to be changed. And honestly, I would go back and do it all again to see the joy and the pride of my girls as they were talking or posting on Facebook, and just how incredible it was that they were so excited and so proud. And to this day, they just, they want to take a ride in the Cadillac, or they want to take a picture with the Cadillac. You guys, it is meaningful to them. And I will also tell you that in terms of team building, it's a magnet for women, because you pull up to a home to do a party, or you pull up to an interview and they see the pink Cadillac, and it represents that Mary Kay is still thriving and it's still alive, and that lives are being changed. And so first thing I would say is, whatever you think about the Cadillac, get a power statement, get into your Cadillac, because honestly, like I said, I would do it all again, and I will continue to do it again and again, because it has been the biggest blessing to my unit. Because now that I have and drive the Cadillac, I can say to my girls, you can earn one too. When we crossed 500,000 this year, it was like just a mind stretch for my girls, that if I can do it, that they could do it, because they did it with me. We did it together. And so it's just been an incredible year. And I want to just talk about some of the main things that I changed. And the first thing that we talked about was my mind. I had to quit playing small. I had to quit playing safe. I had to quit just, the thoughts that were going into my mind that weren't effective. And then really be able to coach my girls, because your girls have these things that they're thinking too, even if it's about getting into their red jacket or moving up into the sales director position. They have these things too. But if we can do that for ourselves, then we can then give to our women, and we can sit down. And so I did lots of coaching with them on creating a power statement, and that was huge for our unit. So I talked to you about the power statement and having that. Something else that we changed this year, we switched meeting locations. And so I was driving to Cranberry every single Monday night, would not miss a meeting, even on my busiest of days, because I know that those who show up go up, and I wanted to learn from the best. I was getting about 2 to 3 girls coming to Cranberry pretty much on the regular. And finally, I just felt like it was time to move. And so actually, the reason that I finally had that idea was that there was somebody that spoke on our director call. And she said that she earned her Cadillac, and the only thing that she changed was her meeting location. And I remember that being nation for me, that it was time to go and branch off onto my own. And so we went to my hometown, and, about 3 to 4 people, maybe 5 on a good night, were coming to meetings. And I remember one of the girls who came into my unit, who's a firecracker for sure. She said, how do we get more people here? And I said, it starts with us. We need to start inviting people and getting people and growing our team and growing our unit. And so now within a year, we have 20 to 25 people at our meetings, you guys, and it's growing. It's growing. We're building a new training center. But I think about the fears that I had too about branching off, and about, would anybody come to those meetings if I did them? Were they just coming for Kim? And I really had to just trust myself and know that my girls needed something that was closer to them. And so we changed meeting locations this year, and it just has been a really great big blessing for us. So that is something that changed when I'm looking at my years. I do debuts slightly differently. And Jenna Larson, actually, so Candy Carlson's daughter, National Sales Director Candy Carlson, taught at one of our jump starts, I believe, on debuts and how she did things differently. And so I kind of want to wrap my close and debuts into one, because what's happening is we're getting 2 new recruits at our debuts, if not 3 people signing up at our debuts, and also closing people on the spot and getting them to sign up at your parties. And so really for debuts, what I'm doing are hand tools. So I'm doing products in the hand because I want to spend most of that time in the individual close with them and sharing the Mary Kay opportunity with them and doing the ticket marketing game. So I'm doing instead of doing products on the face, because that's helping them to get more bookings too. If they've already done the products on their face, I found that they're less likely to want to book. But if they've only tried it on their hand but still see a difference, then they're more likely to book appointment with a consultant. But in the close, individual close, did you have fun today? And could you see a difference of your hand when we did that? Great. So if everything were free, and of course I have my set sheet, if everything were free, what would you want today? And they're showing me what they like. And I flip it over and the picture of this is on there. And I say, now I promise you're not going to hurt my feelings, but you saw what I did today. Ever consider doing. And you would be surprised how many women say, actually, yeah, I could see myself doing this. And so I'm going into what would hold you back. I'm kind of going into that right away. Of course, you know, sometimes people are going to sign right on the spot. Sometimes people are going to need that second appointment with them where we're sitting over coffee or getting together. But I started asking every single person, and I say, you're not going to hurt my feelings, but you saw what I did today. Is this something you would consider? You guys, people want to be asked, even if they're not interested, even if they would like, and some of them, they say, no, I would never do that. And I flip it right back over and I say, well, that's okay, because Susie needs customers too. And I continue into my closing. But people truly, they want to be asked. And I remember the first party that I hosted for my consultant, there was a girl who was there who was a licensed esthetician. And I remember that my consultant, I don't think the opportunity with me that night. I think that I'm actually sure she didn't, but she really was trying to share the business with my girlfriend. But I remember feeling like, but I wanted to be asked, even though I don't think I would have said yes that night. You know, I was so busy being a teacher and planning my wedding and doing my master's. Be asked. And so I think about that. Like, people do, they want to feel special. They want to feel desired. And so I ask everybody. And if they say no, like I said, I flip it right back over and I go back into being a customer. But if they say, yes, I've been thinking about it, then other objections. And typically we're signing 2 or 3 people at debuts with about 10 people there, because we really romance the watch for having 10 people at your debut parties. And that's just something that's really to take. And I also want to share too that I changed my story a little bit. Really talk, the money and the cars, and I still touch on those things. But what I say to them is, I want to share with you the most important thing, because 4 years ago, if you would have met me on the outside, I would have appeared confident. And I thought I was confident. But when I was asked to introduce myself in in a room of women, I remember my knees were shaking. And I was nervous to even say my name. And I think about how far I've come, and I stand before you today as a super confident woman, confident in who I am and whose I am, and just how much I've grown personally. And so I really just have to talk about more of my person. I have found that ears are perking up so much more to hear that, because I think people are hungry for that. And yes, I talk about the car, and yes, I talk about my highest paycheck being $12,790 for 1 month. And their jaws still drop because, I'm a little school teacher and that's a big check. I will tell you that people have been drawn to growth, and all that is something that we're hungry for. And so those are just some things I shared, you guys, or I've changed, you guys. But honestly, it was my thinking. It was playing bigger, which has caused my girls to play bigger, to believe in themselves. It's the rolling into me for this year, the core of sharing. They want their car, they want, directorship. Is just crazy. But I realize that I opened the door to that by trusting myself, by thinking bigger, by playing bigger. And the girls are like, what's our next goal? I mean, they truly are hungry to work towards a team goal. They want to win. They want to play full out, but they're waiting on us. And I think about the years that I didn't have goals. I had a consultant in our unit say, what's our unit working on? And reluctantly, I said, the Cadillac. But I wasn't told, because I had to know what was going on up here for me as to why that didn't feel right to say that. But Heidi always says, a goal with a deadline changes lives. And whose dreams are tied to yours? So I would ask you that this morning. I would ask you to dream bigger than you've ever dreamed before, to know that when you do that, and when you step out into your greatness, that you are going to bless so many women's lives. You're going to change families. You're going to change generations by you stepping out in faith, and by you knowing that we serve a God who says nothing is impossible. And when we will step out, that you will have the year of your dreams, truly. And I'm proof of that. And so I just thank you. If there's anything else, Heidi, that you're thinking that you want me to share, I'd be happy to. But truly, that's what changed for me. And I just thank you so much for giving me this opportunity today, mindset, and what changed for me.
Wow, Lauren. Wow. Oh my goodness. I have 3 pages of notes. And no, you totally touched on everything that I was personally wondering. Did you say when you made your power statement, did you give it to Kim and then she sent it to you every day? Is that what you said?
Yeah, I sent it to Kim, and she actually put, she typed it out like with a picture of her Cadillacs on it. And so she would send that to me at different times throughout the day at random times. And so I would just be forced to stop wherever I was to read it and internalize it. And that was a game changer for us.
That's super smart. That's super smart. I love that, because what I find, Lauren, and for myself especially, is that I will write down my limiting beliefs. I will get them out. I will write power statements, but then I will not look at my power statement. And so my brain goes back to where it was before. And so I think that's genius right there, is having that, a mentor even putting that power statement into your physical being so much. Tell Kim she's super smart. I know you're at her house. So that's awesome.
I will.
And I loved what you said, that the Cadillac is a magnet for women, that it just says Mary Kay is alive and well. There is success going on. And when you drive up in that pink Cadillac, it proves it. That it was a mind game at first. Stop playing small. I love that. And then you were able to coach your own women. Once you had your own power statement, you could coach your women. Being confident to switch your meetings, because I know you were meeting with Kim, national sales director, to go, no, I'm enough. I'm enough for my people, and that's what they need, and you are. I loved your closing on the debuts. And Lauren, that's what I've done, you guys. And maybe my national area doesn't know that, because I haven't done consultant debuts for a long time, but always doing the hand facials so that you have more time. And that's a Linda Tupin debut, you guys. That's what Linda Tupin does at her debut. She doesn't do full glamour, but having the 10. And I loved what you said. You saw what I do today. Would you ever consider doing this? And just asking them that question. And I love what you said. People want to be asked, even if they might not say yes. They want to be asked. That was huge. And I also loved what you said about your I story, that I stand before you now. I appeared confident, but I stand before you now super confident. I know who I am and whose I am. Oh my goodness. I love it. And so just everything you talked about, so simple. You gave us the head stuff, and you gave us the logistics of what to do. And Lauren, that's the mark of a master. That's a master trainer, a master leader. And we don't have anybody else on the Google Hangout to affirm you. But what we do in our national area is that they're going to send me their Voxer messages about what you did for them today. And we're going to forward those on to you. So God willing, we will pour into your life as you have poured into ours. Lauren Bloomer, you're an amazing woman. I'm so glad God brought you into Mary Kay and into my life and into my area's life. And so what can we pray for you for, Lauren? What are your goals for this year that the Goelzer National Area can lift you up in?
Well, it's to the top trip. So I'm excited for Alaska, just that he would continue to bless me as a leader to get stronger and to keep growing, and to never shrink back to where I was, but to only to grow more. And so, yeah, we're going to do the top director trip minimum. And national is on my heart so much. And so I see lots and lots and lots of offspring this year. And so I just pray that that I would have the wisdom and the courage to lead by example.
Well, you are, and we will pray that God continues to grow you, because that's all you need, and because in turn you will grow others. Thank you, my friend, for taking the time to be on this Google Hangout. Mwah. We love you.
Thank you.
People, you've got the link. It's all recorded. Get it out to the world, because they need to see Lauren Bloomer. Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Love you.